Welcome to lesson 1 in the Virtual Yoga Teacher Challenge, a 4-part mini-series to take you from tech terrified to online optimist as a yoga teacher and get you teaching online. My name is Ashley and I'm the creator of Virtual Vinyasa Academy, which is a course and a coaching program to help with all the technological and business systems and strategies beyond yoga teacher training. This program helps you get out of your head and onto your mat and in front of that camera so you can share and teach yoga with complete confidence. I'm also a yoga studio owner, a yoga teacher trainer, a busy mom, an online business coach, and a professional media communications expert. So let me share with you a little bit about what's possible. Imagine stepping out on your yoga mat in front of your video recorder with complete confidence, having a bunch of students on Zoom with you, even from around the world. Imagine believing that and knowing that your technology is flawless, not gonna mess up, you've got this, and you've done it a bunch of times already, so you feel confident in the delivery process. You feel like, yeah, my students are really making progress and I'm making a difference in the lives of so many. That feeling that when students leave at the end of class, or maybe it's later, they send you a message and say, that yoga class was amazing, thank you so much, you are transforming my life. I mean, maybe it's not all that, but something like that, where they say, thank you so much, this was amazing, it's just what I needed, I'm so stressed out, but you helped me to feel a little bit more calm. Well, that can be your reality. Your students will come back again and again and again, and you can teach yoga online. So even though I am pretty good with technology, I do know the struggle of what it feels like to be a brand new teacher, struggling for the words to just simply teach and to say what I wanted to say, to get a clear message across without feeling inauthentic. I know the struggle of being a new yoga teacher. I remember it so vividly.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ashley, and I was part of the 2-week intensive at American Power Yoga. And before doing this 2-week intensive teacher training, I was a Group X instructor, but I kind of taught, and I was always nervous, and I thought this training would be get me to be a better teacher. But after I took this training, I actually found so much more because of the people that we were with. We became a family in just 3 short weeks.
I was fresh out of yoga teacher training, oozing with excitement, and I was the one that was like, you know what? I'm just gonna quit my job and be a yoga teacher. So I quit my nice 9-to-5 full-time job and I did yoga teaching full-time. Soon after, I found myself super exhausted, class after class, 10, 20 classes a week, workshops, and soon, a few years later, teacher trainings. And I was often working twice as hard, or like 5 or 10 times as hard for half the pay. And it was hard. In this training, this video, we're gonna cover some of the obstacles or the myths that come with teaching yoga online for the first time and for the first few times, and what you might be thinking right now before you get started. So you'll pick up a lot of tips and tricks during this, so make sure you grab a pen and a piece of paper so you can write some things down. The first myth that a lot of new yoga teachers think, especially right now, is, I don't have a big audience. No one will join me. The good news is you actually don't have to be a social media influencer in order to teach yoga. And you actually shouldn't pretend to be a social media influencer trying to teach yoga. Those are 2 very different career paths, right? So it's not about the numbers that you have online, not at all. And if you've downloaded the workbook yet, the handouts, the workbook, the PDF that I give you in collaboration with this, you can take a look. You can take a look at your own numbers and just mark down, how many people do I actually know? Followers are people. People who hit the like button are people. So we need to be reaching out to the people. When you are excited about something, it's contagious and it will show. And the thing about this is a lot of people just don't invite others enough. It takes an average of like 7 times for someone to see something in order to be sold on it, even if it's a free yoga class. We're such a society that's very easily distracted, so we need to be able to be in the forefront of someone's mind, and that might mean, hey, I've got a yoga class happening on Tuesday, and then you say it again the next day and the next day, or you invite people one by one. The best form of advertising is actually word of mouth, is a direct conversation, is reaching out and saying, hey, I'm going to teach a yoga class next Saturday. Do you want to come? Do you want to join me? We're not just doing a live video to whoever, whenever, because if you try to reach everybody, essentially you're reaching nobody. So we need to get in there one by one and say, hey, do you want to join me? A lot of my virtual classes only have a few people in them. And that's okay. I know if I talked about them a little bit more, I'd get a lot more, but you've got to talk about it. You've got to invite people to your party. If you stay consistent, your students will get to know that, and they will trust you a little bit more, and they'll keep staying consistent and showing up week after week. It's that first initial push of, you want to join me? Not anyone want to join me, but do you want to join me? Okay, moving on. We all know a few people who would love to take a yoga class and would love to take it from you. Myth number 2. There are too many yoga teachers out there now. It is oversaturated. It is never too late in the game to get started. You could say the same thing about almost any profession. There are too many coffee shops, and yet coffee shops pop up everywhere. There are too many breweries, and yet they're popping up. There's too many graphic designers or virtual assistants on the internet, and yet people go to school and do this stuff every single year. But honestly, the world needs your unique message. It needs your unique message. You are different than everybody else. You have something special that you can share with people. So this is where we're going to get to defining our niche. And you might say niche, that's okay. Defining our niche. So getting clear in your yoga teaching so you know how to stand out. Let's do this, okay? Get out your pen and paper. Let's do this. First, write down the 5 styles of yoga that you love to teach or practice. 5 styles. And then looking at those 5 styles, you might push pause on this video and write them down, think about them for a while. 5 of them. One by one, look through that list and think, if I woke up tomorrow and never got to practice this or teach this ever again, how would that make me feel? And then compare each one to that last answer. How would that make you feel if you never got to do that again? And you're going to narrow it down to your favorite and get as specific as possible. Your favorite. And this isn't the only thing we're going to do. There's a second step to this. So narrow it down to your favorite style of yoga. Describe it. What do you feel like when you practice or teach? What do your students feel like? What are the emotions that come up? And why do people love it so much? Describe that style a little bit. Okay, you got it? So circle that. And here's a quick little tip is you can always change it later, but you've got to start with something. You can be a vinyasa power yoga who also teaches yin and restorative, but start with a focus on one of them, your favorite, okay? Second, imagine global pandemic, it's COVID times, and you can have 5 of your favorite people in your yoga class. Who are they? You can only have 5. If you're a current yoga teacher, you might already have your 5 students. In fact, I can think of the 5 students I would have in my class from years prior. So years previously, I'm just gonna name them. So they're really cool people. Hey, if you're watching, Mark, Haley, Barbara, Tyler, Sarah, and Angel. So those are I had 6, but name a handful of people that would come to your yoga classes. Then we take them as a group. So list your 5 people. Again, you can describe them a little bit, but really just list them out. And hopefully you have actual people that you've worked with that you know that you'd want to work with. So 5 people. After that, answer these questions. What do those 5 people have in common? What do they have in common? From the outside, it doesn't look like a lot of the people I listed have commonalities. There are 2 males and 3 females, or 4 females, and 2 2 of them are over 50, 2 of them are in their 20s, one's in their 30s and 40s. So they don't have a lot gender and age specific, but I don't think gender and age are great indicators to defining your niche. So if you say, women over 60, that's a difficult bucket to fill or difficult to explain, because women over 60, some of them might want to do stretching, relaxing, and all of that, but some of them really like power or stronger yoga. So it depends on preferences. So anyway, what do they have in common? The people that I have, 3 out of the 5 of them have had knee surgery or replacements. Interesting. Okay, why is that? So 3 of the 5 of them have had knee surgeries. The reason is because all of them actually are athletes or have been athletes. So one of them was a soccer player in high school. One of them has a CFO job who likes to play basketball on his lunch break. One of them was a group fitness instructor who taught a lot of spin classes, so she had a double knee surgery. And then we've got the other 2 who, one of them really likes to work out at the gym and one's in the military. So my audience, if I pick my 5, all of them have some sort of base of being an athlete or movement or liking to work out. So that's my niche. Yours is going to be different. Notice what they all have in common. And so what are their nagging problems? For my bunch of 5 or 6 people, they have tight muscles. They're stiff. They have full-time jobs and they like to work out. So like some of their muscles, usually it's in the hips and the shoulders, really need to be worked out. So for me, it's anything that an athlete or someone who does a lot of fitness would complain about. How do they feel right now? How does your bunch of 5 feel right now? Right now in this moment, like COVID times. Well, my bunch of 5 is probably working from home. And they feel a little bit bored and wanting a challenge. And then the last question is, how do they want to feel? So they want to feel strong. They want to continue and keep up with their fitness even though they can't go to the gym. So what could I provide that would help them, those 5 people? So at the end of this, what I came up with for my group of 5 people is that they want to have fun and be challenged, and they want it to be physically accessible. So if their knees are bothering them, they want options in order to modify but still stay in the practice. They want the fun because it's an escape from their sort of intense job or life, and they also want a challenge because they haven't been able to work out as much, and maybe it's the off season, which is actually my niche. Is I teach power vinyasa yoga to athletes in their off season, which I will get more specific and explain that a little bit more later, but that's besides the point, but that would be the audience that I'm targeting. Now, third thing you have to do after you've picked your style and you thought about your 5 people that you'd have in your class, I encourage you to look at your yoga journey. How did you get started? And then who would be a step or 2 just behind you? Who are you just in front of? 1 step or 2, not bounds and leaps in front, but just a step or 2. You know a little bit more than someone else and can teach them something. So I got into yoga because I wanted to be a better athlete on the track team. That's how I first started, was in college. And I continued to do yoga even after college, and it was a supplement to my group fitness teaching. I would do yoga in the morning, and then I would teach group fitness classes a few times a week. It was super fun. I was also training then for half marathon in the future and doing a lot of other types of fitness stuff. So I always used yoga as a way that was something to complement what I was doing, to make me better at this other thing, which would now be who I am marketing to. So I don't teach yoga because I want someone to be good at yoga. I teach yoga because I want my audience to be good at whatever it is that they're passionate about, what they want to be good at. It is that little extra edge that they can have. So that would be all of my niche and my marketing. And so think on that for you. What do you teach? Who do you teach? And why do you teach it? Okay, let's move on. Myth number 3, I don't have a quiet space in my home to teach yoga. Again, you do not have to be a social media influencer or perfect in order to teach yoga online. You need a very simple setup just to get started. In fact, most of it's already what you have, and you don't even need a lot of space. Yes, I've got this entire yoga studio. I don't recommend going out and buying a yoga studio just to film in it, but you can do some things that create a little space for you in your home or wherever you are. There are a couple ways that you can teach yoga online. Number one is by getting online and watching your students on Zoom in any space that you have and verbally cueing them through the process. That means you have to demo very little. So for that, you could use earbuds with a cord into the computer. You could pop them out if you wanted to demo a pose. Otherwise, take it slow and watch your students one by one or one-on-one. So maybe it's a Zoom grid, or maybe it's a private lesson that you're guiding someone through the practice and watching them as they go. So for that, it doesn't take a lot of space. It doesn't take fancy equipment. It doesn't even take good lighting. You just have to show up. And people are looking for yoga teachers and for healers to show up right now. That is 80%, that's a made-up statistic, of the whole thing is showing up, just being there. If you want a space to actually teach or demo yoga classes, so you would be demoing the whole time or doing a lot of the poses as you teach, or to record some yoga practices, then you'll have to make a space. Any room can work in a house. You just might have to move some furniture. And I know you just have to do this, but here's the thing. We need to let go. We need to let go of all of our stuff. If you're someone who is holding on to a lot of stuff, think of the yoga term aparigraha, or letting go, or non-attachment. It might be time to consider simplifying your space. I'm not recommending that you go out and become a super minimalist, but instead getting rid of some things that don't serve you anymore or that are getting in the way. When you free up clutter in your environment, it also frees up clutter in your mind to feel a little more clear and open to whatever is coming up. So you may have to get rid of some stuff, donate some things, sell some stuff. If you don't have a space in your house that you can step back and see yourself on camera, which is about 6 to 8 feet away, then it might be time, again, to make that space. If you are a parent and you have kids, you might have to go a little bit more creative. And for that, I mean, you may have to wake up a little bit earlier, or stay up a little later, wait till nap time, or hire a babysitter. Once a week, having that time to teach your yoga class will be healing for you and your students. It's time for you to give back, to share what you love, and also for your students to receive. So if you have kids, you might do something like I do. I do a morning movement and meditation practice every day at 6 o'clock. Okay, Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock. 6 a.m. because my son sleeps until about 7. And the other day, he actually got up at 6:10, right in the middle, and I got him, and I tell my people, you know what? This is why this class is for free, actually, is because I don't know what kind of distraction might come up and something might happen. It only happened a few times where he does end up waking up and I need to be there for him. But for the most part, I'm able to get that 30 minutes in, no problem. Set it in your schedule and make it non-negotiable. Prepare for it. Drink plenty of water ahead of time. Make sure that you're fueled appropriately and enjoy the process. Myth number 4. People can do yoga for free. Why would they pay me? Yes, it's true. Yoga can be found aplenty on the internet for absolutely $0. But not yoga with you. And remember, you are special. Your message is different. Your message is what your students need to hear. Plus, when someone pays you money, there's a value exchange. When people pay, they pay attention. When people pay, they show up. When people pay, they believe that they are getting a valuable service or product, and they are. If someone wants to do yoga for free on the internet, there's always been yoga for free on the internet. Go ahead. That's fine. That might be where that person is at. And if someone's doing free yoga on the internet and they say, no, I really can't pay right now, that's where they are right now. That doesn't mean no indefinitely. That just means no, not right now. The answer no often means I don't have enough information, or I need to know a little bit more. So it just means that they don't know or don't see yet why they should be paying and what the value is. And tell them, do you need a little more information? How can I serve you? How can I help you? And if we show up with that serving mentality when it comes to our conversations with potential students, then you will build a following. Yes, anyone can learn to do anything for free online. But people pay for shortcuts. They pay for accountability. They pay for your personal message. They pay for your value. They pay for value. So just put a dollar amount to it, not a big deal, and send people the link when they want to join. Say, hey, here's where you sign up. The great thing about having just an all-in-one booking software is that you don't have to do that back and forth. You don't have to do that, okay, well, it's $10, you pay through PayPal, and then I'll send you the link, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do that. If you have an all-in-one booking software, which I am going to recommend in next video, right? So you have to pay attention to the next video. If you have an all-in-one software, then there's no question. It's, here's the link to join, and I can't wait to see you, right? And then they show up, and all is well. Myth number 5. Yoga teaching online is not the same as in person. You're absolutely right. It's not the same, but it doesn't have to be. And in fact, it can be better. It can be so much better. So this is where a mindset shift has to happen. Think about it this way. If you had a job and your boss said, okay, now you're working from home and you just got a promotion, so you're gonna get paid more, you got a promotion, you're gonna work from home now, and here are your tasks. You're not gonna go there and look at the tasks and say, well, I'm pick and choose, no, thank you, that's okay, I'll just stick to what I'm doing. No, same as a yoga teacher. You just got a promotion. You just got a promotion and your job description says you've got to teach Zoom classes and you're gonna get paid more. When you charge for them, you get paid more. So write yourself a job description in this moment, at this time. I encourage you to sit down with that for a little while and say, okay, what is my job description? Yoga teaching is a job. For some of us, sure, it might be just a hobby we do once in a while and we enjoy, and we don't think much of it. That's okay. Maybe this training is not for you because you're not one of those who are fearful to push that record button and looking for a little bit of a confidence boost to do so. You're just gonna hang out and wait until you can teach in person again. But if you're someone who is a yoga teacher and you want to teach online, there's a little bit of fear there. You've got to treat this like it's a business. And you've got to separate the business from personal. So if someone doesn't come to your class because, I don't know, something came up, or they say they want to and then they don't, it's not personal on you. You are the person providing this service, but the business, the service is yoga. It's your yoga classes. So that is separate from you, to separate you and your business. And one way I also recommend to do that is to kind of simply, create a new bank account. If you are in this and you want to be a yogi entrepreneur and you want to be a business as a yoga teacher and you're doing this on your own, create a separate bank account, separate from your personal finances, so that you can track everything in one place. You don't have to create an LLC, but you do have to have a way to separate your business from your personal finances, and that also creates a mindset shift that says, okay, my business and my personal are separate. At least it did for me when I created my business bank account. It felt like something was more official. It felt like I was a legitimate yoga teacher business. Since we're on the topic of yoga teaching in person not being the same as online, I also want to let you know that the experience that you're giving to your students is not going to be the same experience that you got. A lot of us got into yoga teaching because we believe that yoga transformed our life, and we want to share what we experienced with others. And right now, not many of us experienced this way of beginning yoga. Most of us probably went to a studio or had a teacher or went to in-person yoga classes, but I mean, some of us probably started online, but many of us didn't. And so we cannot share that same experience that we had with our students. And that's okay. Their experience is going to be different. They're getting an experience of 2020. And the experience of 2020 is virtual yoga. You can still provide them with the love and the care and all that you can manage to do through an online, virtual atmosphere, but it's going to be different. So remember, this is for your students. It's not about you. It's about sharing a thing or two with the people that need it most. On that note, make sure that you are also continuing your personal practice so that you can stay fulfilled and filled up and ready to give. Okay, so those were the 5 myths or misconceptions that I have for this video. I hope you took a few notes and are going to take action. Make sure to stay tuned for our next video because I'm sharing the biggest myth or misconception, and that is that technology is so overwhelming. I'm going to simplify the process and give you a little bit more of a step-by-step guide when it comes to teaching yoga online. I'll run you through some softwares, some tips for equipment, and pretty much the how-to on how to push that record button, and then we'll go do it. Thank you so much for joining in this training. I can't wait to keep working with you. And if you haven't yet, make sure that you share this video and these video series with other yoga teacher friends so that they can have a leg up when it comes to starting their virtual yoga business. I'll see you in video 2.